Hey everyone, third episode of my series where I'm modernizing the early modulars. This time to present you my model Green Grocer 2024. My motivation for this series is to complete my modulars collection. I'm missing the first 7. Buying them now in the aftermarket is really expensive, and actually for a result that is not as polished or complete as the modern modulars. So if you don't want to miss any of these episodes, just subscribe and press the bell button for the notifications. This model has 2,767 pieces, 415 pieces more than the original Green Grocer that had 2,315 pieces. The challenge was to design a Green Grocer version that was more complete than the original, and that I or anyone else could build using only new parts for less than 400 euros. To achieve that, I must rely as much as possible on parts from the pick-a-brick service from LEGO, because since they are being produced, they will be the cheapest. Which means that I had to do some design changes. Let me show you the main differences. Starting with the front of the building, for me, the facade of the shop was the most dated thing in the set. No store name, no symbol, just a few boards with Viking-styled drawings. And is it just me, or the blue in the canopy doesn't go that well with the other colors in the building? I remade it, trying to follow the more modern style of signs in recent modulars. A dark green G and a carrot in a sign above the door. And basically setting the white, the dark green and the orange as the palette used for the grocer facade. The orange canopy is still bright, without clashing with the other colors. Beyond that change, in the building facade, there's the obvious change from the sand green modified bricks with a vertical channel to sand green masonry bricks. Does it really make a big difference? Maybe, but personally, I believe it's a difference for the better. Lastly, I replaced the feathers on the top of the roof with bars with clips, just because the feathers are not sold by LEGO anymore. But it shouldn't be too hard to find the feathers in Bricklink. Actually, I'm even considering doing it myself in the future. In the back, the only change is a recoloring of the terrace furniture to get colors that were available and that matched with the building. I felt that with the fire escape stairs and bits of plants and some litter, it was enough for the back of the building. No need to change anything else or add more details. Before showing the inside, just let me highlight that I changed how the floors fit in on top of each other. The original set had 3 lines with an extra layer of plates under the tiles, which limited the movement and required only one stud to lock it in place. I tried that, but it felt hard to attach and detach the floors. I didn't like it at all. I changed it to the usual 1x4 tiles with studs on the edges in 2 or 3 places, as it's now usual in modulars. It was pretty straightforward to make the change. To keep the design, I just had to leave some bits higher in the front side. But since it's only on one side, it doesn't make it any harder to attach the upper floor. Inside, the grocer's shop is equal to the original. At the time, it was revolutionary the level of details the designers put into this shop. A real example for the modulars to come. In the building entrance hallway, I changed the stairs using a similar technique to what I used in the cafe corner. Yes, it's my favorite design for stairs. But this time with the twist of using a snot technique to add an additional step that was needed to reach the height of the upper floor. And I didn't have enough space to do it in any other way. Also improved the space under the stairs to have a tile floor and some crates to provide a better hiding to the mouse eating the cheese. You can't really see it in the model without disassembling some things, but let me tell you, it gives me great comfort to know that every area of the building looks good and has a good amount of detail, even if it's hidden. On the first floor, the original model had just the fireplace, the window curtains, the stairs and the guardrail, which I kept mostly the same, just with some minor adjustments. In the stairs, I moved them one stud to be next to the wall and don't waste any more space than needed. I replaced the cat with a spider, I think it makes more sense, and I added one step. I also increased the length of the guardrail. I added a dinner table with 2 chairs and a bookcase with books. Also, I added a complete kitchen, including tiled floor to create a separation between the kitchen area and the rest of the space, since this is completely open. It includes a stove with an oven, refrigerator, and sink right by the window. Also added a retractable table and 2 stools. I decided to have the kitchen with a modern style, like it was recently renovated, to contrast with the rest of the house, which has a more classic look. On the second floor, the original model had the clock, the rug, and the wall heater, which I kept as originally designed. I added an armchair and a bed with a bedside table, just to create a bedroom and living room feeling to it. Also added a small build which I'm most proud of. A small table with a white tablecloth and a vase of flowers on top. I placed it by the window where it can catch some sun. I also added some pieces to better fill in the back of this roof, because the gaps bothered me a bit as it doesn't fit with the roof behind it. In the original build, that was it, but I decided to go a step further. I changed the finishing on top of this door and the inside structure to add a removable part of the rooftop. And I added a small attic on the sides of the stairwell to the second floor. Inside, you can see on the right some boxes with archived stuff, and on the left a Christmas tree lying down. This was actually inspired by a conversation I had with a friend of mine about apartments, and she was saying that whoever builds them doesn't account for storage space for everyday needs. And she used, as an example, the Christmas tree. Almost everyone has a plastic one, at least here in my country, that is used only a few weeks each year. And then, where do we store it? So, I decided to show that common example of a forgotten need in this MOC. In terms of the building, that's it. But I also changed the minifigures. My model has 4 minifigures. The grocer shop owner, with curly black hair and a circle beard, wearing an apron. Yes, it could also be a medieval blacksmith, but it was the best option I could find on LEGO Pep Service. I have the owner of the house above the grocery store, with grey hair, a moustache and sideburns. He is wearing formal attire, grey pants, white shirt, blue striped tie and a black vest. Maybe he's a businessman, or maybe a lawyer or politician. Maybe he's the mayor of the city, who knows. The last 2 minifigures are a mother and their baby. They are just walking through this part of the city, the mother pushing the stroller with her baby. Actually, the stroller was already included in the original set, but had no baby, and the design didn't allow it to carry one. So while trying to keep a similar color pattern, I did a lot of changes to the design to allow the baby to fit in, keeping it in the same scale. The mother has blonde hair, tied in a ponytail, and she wears glasses. She is wearing white pants and a pink hoodie. So this is my Green Grocer version using parts from 2024. If you want to build this model yourself, I have the instructions available on Rebrickable. I'll put a link in the description. At the time I'm recording this video, all the 2,767 parts are available in the Pick-a-Brick service from LEGO, costing around 380 euros, excluding any handling or shipping expenses. So within my 400 euros threshold. I'm already designing the Fire Brigade, the next model, and I'm preparing something really special for that model, so stay tuned. Until then, stay safe out there.